Hi everybody, it's Stacy Swiderski, the senior photo editor here at Wonderful Machine, and I'm about to work on a web edit for member photographer John Davis. John's web edit is actually a part of a relocation package that we're doing for him to make sure that his move from Baltimore to LA keeps his brand as commercially viable as possible and makes sure that his web edit is strong as he starts reaching out to new clients. So let's take a look at the first gallery on John's site. This is his education gallery. Education is really one of John's primary specialties. So moving forward, we're going to make sure that we emphasize this, but we're going to want to tighten up this edit and make it feel a little bit more cohesive and less repetitive. The next specialty on his site is a general portrait gallery. So this is a mixture of editorial portrait work along with portraits that he's done for various projects. So there's some nice work in here, but I do think we can tighten up this edit and make it feel much stronger and more cohesive. We then have a sports gallery. This is a really nice sports specialty gallery with some really strong images in it. So I think moving forward, we're going to want to keep this work, but maybe tighten it up a little bit and just make this gallery fit better with the other galleries on his site. We don't want to show 50 images in education and 20 images in sports because it's going to feel a little off balance. John's corporate gallery is looking great, but I do think there's some repetition in here. And moving forward, we're going to try to have more of a narrative to this gallery rather than just strictly have a series of portraits that kind of have a similar cropping and framing. Looking at his projects, this is a really strong project for a brand called Trees and Toting in Baltimore. So this is essentially what we would consider brand narrative, telling the story of the brand, the people behind the brand, and the people using the brand. We then have another project gallery, which for the most part looks more like a portrait project. So there's not much narrative or storyline to this. It's just a series of selections he's made to create a project. Then Lower Dens is more of a project based on a music band, so a different type of project, but here I'm not really sure if it's working in his favor showing so much content from one shoot. We then have First State Manufacturing, which is a nice brand narrative that's showing the behind the scenes of a manufacturing company, and then another more artistic conceptual project after that. John also has some really strong motion work on his site, so we're going to continue to emphasize that in the new edit. And then an excellent tears page, which really highlights the extent of the different types of clients he's worked for. His about page is looking good. We have a biopic along with a nice little background and an extensive client list. And then we have links to his Tumblr and PDF creation page and contact. So as I get started on John's edit, I'm really going to look at consolidating the work he's showing, integrating new projects he shot, and finding the best way for him to organize this work and present it to clients in a manner that feels balanced and cohesive. Okay, so now I'm back with John's completed web edit, and you can see that we have some new images on the home page, and we've actually restructured his organization system by focusing more on project-based navigation. So we do still have a portraits gallery, and this is just a general portrait gallery that is going to showcase a tighter edit of editorial portrait work that also pulls in just a few images from some of the projects that he was previously showing. So this is a much tighter edit, and I think the sequence and flow of this definitely works in his favor. Now we're going to start taking a look at the project galleries that we built. AmeriCorps was one of the very first projects John shot in the new year, and this was a big project. So what we did is we grouped them together to kind of show a narrative of this company and their mission. I'll go through it quickly just so you can get an idea of the sequence and the flow and the narrative that we're really trying to encourage and emphasize in John's work. Clients are really looking for image libraries lately, and they're really looking for stories. So if you're a photographer and you have this in your work, it's going to benefit you by being able to structure your edit around that narrative aspect. Trees and Toting was in John's previous edit, but now it's just a much tighter collection of work. And John balanced out his processing a little bit to make this feel consistent with the other work he's showing. Flanagan Industrial is another great brand narrative project. Some beautiful portraits, some really nice detail shots that really show a sense of who this company is. Sagamore Spirits, another new project gallery, which shows some really excellent lifestyle work. The Green Turtle, another project John did for a restaurant in Baltimore, essentially telling the story of who makes up this brand and what this brand's about. And then we go into some of the education work that John's known for. So, a strategic aspect of John's edit was to not emphasize the education as much as it was previously emphasized when he was living in Baltimore. The idea being that as John enters a new market, he wants to be as versatile and as flexible as he can by sticking within his specialties but not pigeonholing himself into one particular specialty. So this is the track and field gallery. We essentially just turned the previous edit into a project, and I think it works out great. And another education project for Colby College. We did a general office life, which really updates his previous corporate gallery by showing the reality of the office and the activities in the office. And his about page looks just as good as it did before, just kind of stretched out his bio a little bit. John still needs to update his contact page to say LA, but other than that, I think his edit looks great and it was a pleasure working with him. And if you find yourself moving across the country or moving across the planet, we're always happy to help with the relocation package. Thanks and have a great day.